I'm Michelle. I've been volunteering for over a year now.
Volunteering for what?
For Convention of States, and I get asked all kinds of questions all the time about Convention of States.
So which state legislator would you trust to open up the Constitution at this point in history?
Well, this is a question we receive all the time from people, and the applications that the states are each, voting on, they all have to be identical. They all have to talk about the three topics, addressing career politicians, addressing debt and spending, and addressing federal overreach. So if a state votes on something that talks about things outside of that, it'll get thrown out. It won't become part of the we're keeping track of. Right now we have 13 states out of the 34 that we're needing to create a convention. So if it's different than the other states, then it'll be like, oh, well, this doesn't count. So there's a canned resolution. The one for Michigan is called House Joint Resolution E, and it's with the Election and Integrity Committee within the House of Representatives.
You do know that the Declaration of Independence says that if the people feel abused by their government, that they have the right to abolish the government. And the Constitution was created and ratified at a convention that was only supposed to do some certain things, and instead it completely changed the Articles of Confederation and created the Constitution that we're living under. So I have a grave concern because we haven't really yet, in this 237-year history of our wonderful country, we have yet to follow the Constitution. We have never learned it. We, the people who are the natural guardians of the Constitution, don't understand the Constitution. And they didn't understand it in 1800, and they don't understand it today. We elect people who don't understand it. They take an oath to protect and defend the Constitution, and they do everything except that. So what makes us think that if we write new laws and change the Constitution, that they're now going to follow these new laws when they don't follow the laws that are
and that's a question we receive all the time. It's there's two parts to that question. A lot of people do say, the initial convention, it was a runaway convention, or it wasn't appropriate. That's actually a myth, and I can send you some articles on that if you want. I have them handy. And then regarding they don't follow what it is right now. Why would they? So what's happening is the people are lawyering around the different statutes within the Constitution. So these amendments would be written such that they're very, very clear, like the ones we have right now. Okay, women can vote. Okay, well that's unambiguous. You can't really lawyer around that amendment, or you can't have slaves. So they're meant to be very, very clear and unambiguous, so that there isn't room to lawyer around.
I actually really only like the Constitution in the first 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights. I think anything that was added to that, again, was added by a people that didn't truly understand that what we had in place with just the Constitution and the Bill of Rights was solid. And so we didn't have to start approaching this special interest group or that special interest group to satisfy their desires. All people are created equal and are to be protected by law. The laws of God first. That's the law. And men's law is secondary to God's law.
I agree with you.
So the Constitution is only to protect God's law. So we don't need men changing what we've got that is a absolute bedrock of protection for God's law. And I don't see any reason why we should change what we've got when we don't follow what we've got. Wouldn't you think it'd be a better idea to follow what we got before we change it?
Well, you make great points, but this is true. It's not to throw out the Constitution. It's to restore the Constitution. It's to make something. And I will say, yes, everyone thinks about those three amendment ideas that we talked about. But did you know that the other main goal of Convention of States, it's as important, or maybe even more important, is creating a grassroots army of engaged and active activists like you guys and like me who are going to school board meetings, doing, county commissioner meetings, participating with election and integrity, and also inspiring a spiritual reawakening. Even on our website, one of our mission statements is to inspire a spiritual reawakening in this country. Not just political, and I'm going to get emotional, but
Right.
I mean, it's just, Mark Levin, Hannity, so many other people who have, are intelligent people that have studied this stuff. They are endorsers. We have a list of endorsers is Alan West.
Yeah, see, and I
Ron
understand
DeSantis.
there's a lot of people that are opposed to it too, but I'm not really concerned about who's standing up for it or not. I'm standing up for God's law and the Constitution as it is written. Until we follow it, I don't want to even open it up. Do you know Ayn Rand? Have you read Atlas Shrugged?
No, I didn't read it.
It's a brilliant book, and Ayn Rand was a brilliant political thinker, but she didn't believe that there was a God. So I say, I'm not going to take away the fact that she was a brilliant political thinker. She was just wrong about God. Now, Mark Levin is a brilliant political thinker, but he's wrong about Convention of States. I don't take anything away from him because there is no reason to open up a constitution that people don't understand and haven't followed for the 237 years of our country's existence. And I can prove to you, people did not understand the Constitution in 1800 any better than they understand the Constitution in the year 2022. So I would much rather see a renaissance of a grassroots mobilization of people who learn the Constitution to understand the American Republic.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we do. Is like a lot of us are involved with Patriot Academy and biblical citizenship, and help promoting people should know what the heck the Constitution says, what the Declaration of Rights. We believe those are divinely inspired. But I have to address what you are saying about the opening up. We get that all the time from people, and the way it works is that each state, once we get to 34 states, the other 16 states are invited to this convention. Each state can send as many people as they want, but each state only gets one vote. And if the delegates that are sent, if they start to talk out of order about, well, I want to talk about abortion and I want to talk about this or that, they're subject to being recalled. Some of the states even will arrest them and put them away for 3 years, up to 3 years. So I mean, it's not like something that's taken lightly. It's not like, oh, let's just make all these different versions of the Constitution. No, they can only talk about those 3 topics: the term limits, the career politicians, the debt and spending, and the federal overreach.
It seems to me that career politicians are a result of a misinformed electorate and a misaligned media that is perverting the opinion of the people. So don't change the Constitution. Don't try to add new laws when we can't even follow the laws that we have in existence.
But I will say, I'm going to elaborate on the career politicians. So it's not just term limits on Congress. It would be term limits on CDC, FBI, all of that. Like this Dr. Fauci, he wouldn't have been, if we had some term limits around those type of people that are not in Congress, but they are, they end up getting all this power. If we had those term limits, that would have, we maybe COVID, who knows? So, it's just trying to bring power back to the states. And I will say, the beautiful thing about it is that it would bring more power back to the states. And, I mean, what do you think is easier to hold state legislators accountable or to hold Congress people accountable?
At this point, it's not easy to hold anybody accountable because we the people don't understand that the states hold all the power, except most of the power is really in the hands of we the people.
Oh, yeah.
And until
we
the people understand the power that we have...
I'm hearing that 90% or more than 90% of what we think is the same.
Right, but the solution is not to open up the Constitution under any premise. No premise at all, because that is a document that is solid in its writing. It is inspired, as you said, it's inspired by God. It doesn't need changes. It needs adherence. We can't control the people that we've got in office already, because we, the people, are not taking advantage of the mantle of leadership that we have. So I am 100% in agreement with learning the Constitution, not changing it.
And I'm in agreement with you. But I'm not sure if you know that Article 5, we don't get taught this because we're not being taught accurately about our government anymore. But so the amendments that we have currently, these were like the ones you said outside of the 10, you know. Those were all initiated by 2/3 of Congress, just saying, hey, we need this. Well, there's a second way whereby the mechanism does involve we the people, contacting state legislators and being like, hey, you know, come on, state legislators, let's create a convention of states, because Article 5 says in there, that shows that Article 5 says 2/3 of the Congress or 2/3 of the state legislatures equals 34 can come together for the purposes of creating an amendment or creating amendments. They didn't say to rewrite the Constitution or throw it out or anything. So this actually is a way to bring power back to us. And you know what? One of the things that we think about is that, okay, say we do create a convention of states and we're able to address those three things. You know, we may very well be like, okay, let's talk about this 17th Amendment and maybe undoing this or undoing some other things that are not working. So, I mean, it's a way actually to bring power back to us, back to the states, where we can get in our car and drive to Lansing and be like, what the heck are you guys doing?
Don't open the Constitution. Let's guard it.